Hello, this is Umabel bringing you Dyson Sphere program. The Icarus update is 5 days away, so that means there's 5 more days left until there's a slight chance that I will want to start a fresh save. Small chance, but it's there. So what do I want to get done by then? Well, at first I wanted to complete my personal achievement of 1,000 whites per second. Anyways, that's another story, but point is that's probably not going to happen. Instead, I'm going to lower my expectations a bit and get all of my 4 work spheres up to a total 2.5 terawatts total, which is more doable. The current rocket rate is 20 per second. Basically, I just want to increase that to 60 per second to get the needed power done by then. And here, what we're after is going to be sales, which is what most of this video is going to be covering right now. We are looking for a goal of 12 belts of sales. Now, the sales here is being produced in this planet. We currently have what appears to be 6 belts of sales. Now, we could increase it over to 12 belts, but we're realizing here that this planet itself will not be able to sustain that rate. There's just not enough stone here. According to the calculator anyway, let's change this over to 12 belts of sales. Let's see here. We need about 36 belts of stone, which will of course be smelted. Half of that will be smelted over to glass. So 36 belts of stone. We can usually, at least at this current VU, we can grab maybe like 12. 12 on average from a single patch. And what we need to do now is count how many patches we have in this planet to check that. And counting the amount of stone patches in this entire planet, we have a whopping 1 patch of stone. So we need 36 belts of stone, and I'm only going to get like 12 off of this 1 patch. So to have a planet with 12 belts of sales, we're going to need like 3 patches to comfortably do that with. Fire ice would be nice, of course. Iron and copper is also nice. In fact, all 4 of those ingredients will be nice. So I'm going to be looking for planets that have those 4 ingredients. So going through the spreadsheet survey of the planet resources, we have listed first off our planets with fire ice. So we're going to look through planets that also contain stone, as well as iron and copper. So far, the planets that have the fire ice are listed are shaded orange. I'm going to filter this down a little bit. There is a 5th requirement. Distance away from where the sales are being requested. In other words, where the rockets are being made. For this, I made another column which lists the distance in light years from the planet where the rockets are being made. Here is a calculator which calculates the maximum allowable distance from a planet given a constraint of just 10 vessels and a desired belt throughput. So in this case, I want 12 belts, and it's been a while, so logistics carrier engine has improved quite a bit over to 28. So this means that the maximum allowable distance is 19.4 light years. And here on the spreadsheet, using conditional formatting, we can see that there are quite a few planets here that fit that requirement. For stone being the most important, requirement. Let's look for planets that have higher than 3 million stone. Let's up the constraints a bit. So instead of shading gray when it's over 0, like it has at least one patch of stone, let's increase that over to 3 million. Again, it's quite a few. So then we can start making some better informed choices on where to put the sails now. Over at our planet, oh, thanks for the achievement. And let's look for how many patches of stone we have. So that's 1 so far. It's looking very good, actually. If it's 1.6, and we only have 5 million, so that means we probably have like 4 of them. 1, 2... 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm not really counting it that well, but it looks like we have at least 3 separate patches. That is all I wanted. How's our copper looking? This one little patch of copper. Did I say how much belts of copper we needed? 3. Okay, we only needed 3 belts here. Easy peasy. So the plan is then we're going to discontinue sales at the old planet and have the sales moved over here, increased to 12 belts. With all the raw materials being mined out and processed here. With this, I declare you a new planet. Oh, basic stuff. Yeah. So to start discontinuing, I'm going to turn off all the stone that's being provided. Alright, goodbye, glass. This might take a while. Or maybe not. Okay, that said, everything can be taken out now. Okay, just dumping all the fuel rods at the new planet. And that's it for whatever this planet was, providing stone. Now it's not doing that anymore. Everything's been cleared off. Get things started on the new planet. I'll start with mining out the stone veins. Alright, starting with this patch. Okay, so this patch is mined out. So what will happen then, usually my current process to have all the as many belts as possible shift over to this this zone where at most 12 belts of stone will turn into 6 belts of glass. So at the current veins utilization, we can get a full belt off of a total of 4 veins. Actually, it's around 4.2, give or take. But what I'm going to do is just, plan a little bit ahead. Like eventually, I mean, it shouldn't be too long before before I'm hitting 140 level. So, so I'll just plan assuming that I have a full belt from 4 veins. Now, as far as 3 veins goes, that's actually level 170. So it's going to be quite a while before I'll be hitting that kind of level. So these are 1, 3, 3. Well, whatever. I'll just combine them all right here. Hopefully the penalty will not be too big. So that's 4 right there. That's 2, 5, 4. Might as well combine these two. So with about a 1 miner, left over, I have 12 belts of stone coming out, which is good. That's the good news. The bad news is I don't want it to face south. I want it to face over to the right side because it's literally all in the same zone as where the stone's going to be smelted. Oops. So just to make this more helpful, I'll just have the smelter array made right next to it. Therefore, I'll have a better idea of where the belts need to be coming out. Okay, and I guess the middle is going to be coming out from here or something. Yeah, so far so good. Looking good. Almost there. Wait, that's 5 and that's 2. Why do I even need that miner? Okay, that's done. So 12 belts of the stone turns into 6 belts of glass. And it will all be droned over to where the sails are going to be made. What did I just do? Oh. Okay, so the way this is looking is there should be 3 patches of stone, and from each of those, we're going to get 6 belts of 6 belts of glass. Why do you say silicon in there? Gonna have to fix that. So that's the first one. So basically, after 2 more such patches / arrays, then we should be done with the stone / glass requirement. Belts are set up with some miners to spare. About 12 of them, give or take. Yeah, so the cool part about here with the blueprint is that you just, as long as they overlap the belts by just 1 grid space, you can just click and they'll automatically connect. So that'll save me a couple of clicks there. Alright, 2 down. 1 more to go. Finally found this 3rd patch. This patch is a little more wonky than the others because they're a little far off the poles, so to speak. but it's going to be the same procedure. I'm going to have the belt run all the way up north till it reaches this zone. And it's done. Looking good so far. Alright, that takes care of all the stone. So what's left now is going to be some fire ice and, copper and iron to make the boards with. And the sails in our old place are already dead. So I think I'm gonna go over there and pick up the buildings over there. Over at the old sales planet, basically just deleting stuff now, saving the stuff that I like. Tedious, but I save a couple of buildings, a little bit of time, I think. And this erasing stuff is very, very satisfying. I think I have, well, almost have everything. I'll have to come back for the chemical plants down there. Over at the new planet, I see the way things will probably divide out. If you imagine, like, there's this border that goes straight through these three glass patches. On the left side, I think I see maybe a patch of fire ice or two. That can go over to make the graphene. It's not a lot. And then on the right side, that will be where the actual sails are made. I don't see any iron or copper here, so that might be a problem. But I believe the boards can just be made over there also. This is actually supposed to be 6 belts of sails, so what I will try to do then is just... Yes, it'll be much easier. All the raw stuff will come over from the left side, and then the 12 belts of sales products can go to an ILS on the right side. It seems simple, and it looks like it can actually fit all one on top of the other. Oh, collide with object. Isn't that a bummer? Should probably save the game. Alright, let's try that again. I'll probably have to hook up the left side with stations also. Another collision. This one's a little tricky. But I think I can just put them side to side like this. Okay, looking good. I'm gonna have to make these additional items though. Just got a drop of buildings. Fortunately, that didn't take too long. I think it helps to buffer a bit. That's another story. Pretty much done. So now I'm just going to somehow wire all the belts to stations now. On the left side, all the raws have 30 belts, which will be a bit complicated. Yeah, here I tried to start. Let's see how this is gonna look. So that's graphene. That's boards. Glass. More glass. I think dividing the 30 belts into 3 stations will probably be fair. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now it's possible to actually divide it instead into slots, which I believe might be more efficient. But if I did that, I'm gonna have to do a lot of belting to make that happen. Currently debating. Yeah, I've decided not to go through with that craziness. So I'm just going to have 10 belts go on each station. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, with 5 being in the middle. 5. Sure, like that. Glass, board, graphene. I have to admit though, it does feel a little tacky, but yeah, I'll get used to it. Okay, the raw materials are belted in. More or less not too difficult. And now on the right side, we will belt all 12 belts into a single ILS. Okay, that's 6 so far, 4 more to go. That's 3, that's 2, that's 1, and this one going all the way down is the last one. Okay. Let's set you to deliver sales. Now technically this is the only ILS delivering sales, so I mean this is the only ILS delivering anything, so this is the only place getting warpers. Okay, what's next now is to get the boards ready and the graphene ready. But the real question is where the iron's going to come from, and the closest I can see is over there. So it's going to make sense to somehow arrange the board factories to, go between these 2 patches. So as far as boards go, going to need 6 belts. Okay, so let's just paste that out and see how it looks. So due to the funny part that a belt of boards only needs half a belt of copper. So what I arranged instead is to have 2 boards made from 1 belt of copper and 2 belts of the iron. So it'd be kind of like this, I guess. So that's what the 6 belts is going to look like. Oop. So, looking at the layout that I have here so far, the copper and the iron's actually going all the way from the left side, and they come on the right side. Yeah, that's fine. At least at the time. So then the next thought was to maybe put, somehow reverse the belts around and have an input for the copper ore. Then probably what I'm going to do now instead is I'm just going to copy the entire thing and paste it rotated 90 degrees. So all the inputs will basically start from the top, and then the outputs will go on the bottom. So that's the blueprint. Rotate it 90 degrees. Maybe have it start here or something like that. Yeah, so far so good. Okay, so now it's going to be a simple matter to just wire this to a PLS. There you are. And as expected, there should be 3 belts of copper ore and, was it 6 belts of iron? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. So it should be simple enough to just belt them in. And I should probably start with belting in the iron first, because that's the one where there's more of them lying around. Therefore, when I go over to the copper stuff, the copper won't have. I only have 3 belts to worry about as far as going through hoops and ladders for. Speaking of which, I should probably gap it just a little bit. Maybe a 2 grid gap, give or take. Okay, let's try that again. So that's 2, 3. Or did I miss something? I think I missed something. Okay, so that's the 6 belts of iron. So now the copper being, fewer of them, should be much easier to bridge through. Alright, and that's boards. So now the last piece remaining is graphene. For graphene, long story short, it's just going to need 6 belts of graphene. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to look for a fire ice that's kind of near a pole. Lay down some, some vertically aligned chemical plants, and just have those droned over. So let's look for some fire ice. So there's a couple down here. So it's possible I can squeeze some chemical plants between these two regions over here. Just like the copper and the iron, the fire ice is not a huge amount of demand. So I just plop down 6 miners that I know are full belts. And here are the chemical plants. Now technically this is only 4 belts, so I believe what I have to do now is just paste down half of this, and that will make it that'll make it 6. Probably need to paste it with the power poles, unfortunately. And the way it's set up is okay. The way it's set up is that these output belts are actually mixed with hydrogen and graphene. So what I usually do is I'll have it going straight to an ILS set with graphene and hydrogen, and it will actually act like sort of like a sorter of sorts. And so it'll just, take in the graphene, use it locally. And as far as the hydrogen goes, well, it'll just throw it out somewhere. Probably Casimir crystals or something. One part that puzzles me, though, is why is there 9 belts of fire ice needed for 6 belts of graphene? Okay. I'm gonna have to look into that some more. Yeah, I looked over at the recipe and the calculation. Apparently, for every 90 factories, that's making, I guess, 2 belts of graphene. So that means that it only needs to get 2 belts of fire ice. So I guess for the sake of simplicity, I just divided it into 3 input belts. But at least that's what seems to be going on right now. So I think I'm going to go for it. So we got 3 rows. That's supposed to be two belts of fire ice. So I think the quickest way to fix this is to of course leave 2 going, going up either 2 rows, and whatever is left over will go down the 3rd row. Let me see if it's even possible. So it'll be kind of like that. So leftovers from the two columns will then go over to the right, to the last column. Yeah, that seems like it could work. Work like that. So this last column's not getting... Okay, so it's not going to be anything fancy. It just needs to... I'm just avoiding having to use too many miners, I suppose. In the long run, anyway. Alright, so third belt's connected in. Okay. That's simple enough to do. So now all we gotta do is just add that over to the other two, unfortunately. Okay, the second set's corrected. Now let's put in the last set here. Let's, two deceiving belts of graphene right there. Yeah, 2 belts of graphene disguised as 3. Okay, so now instead of 9 belts, I can just get, yep, just 6 belts just as intended. Now I have about 6.6 or so gigawatts of power setup. Probably overkill, but I'm just going to power up everything and stress test the sails, see how much power it's kind of using, and then trim down the power as needed. Yeah, these on the receiving end, they shouldn't need power. I mean, they shouldn't need any drones. So let's just start demanding everything now. Need some glass though. So those miners there are 4-vein miners. So they almost get a full belt, with an occasional gap in between. Need to wait like 4 more veins utilization levels until they're actually full belts. That needs drones. Thank you. Anything else that's not powered? I think that's all of it. Got drones powered. And notice it would have been overkill to put drones on the receiving end, because it's literally only using like 20 drones. All the hydrogen's being, put away, thankfully. Yeah, I think that's it. And so what's left now is to stress test the sails and see how close the max output is to 12 belts. Might help to power you too. So the goal here is 21.6 K per minute of solar sails. So on the stress test, even though they're being carried off to make rockets, so what I do here is I just take whatever is being made excess and just delete it. So it's going to be constantly pulling in, trying to demand over 12 belts from everything. Hopefully, within a minute or so, this should be reaching the goal amount. So after stress testing for about a minute, deleting over leftover stuff, it appears I'm hitting about 20,000 a minute. It seems about 1,000 away from the goal. No surprises there. 4-vein miners are not exactly full belts just yet. And from the looks of the power, let's take a look at the power. It's only consuming 2.8 gigawatts, give or take. So what I'm going to do is, this is 6 gigawatts is a bit overkill. So I'm going to trim down the power and leave it at that. I think that's going to be enough sales for quite a bit. My triple with the copper here. We'll just have to wait and see if the demand ever goes up that high. I doubt it. But that's pretty much about it there as far as solar cells goes. And in that case, I'll close it up here. And thank you for watching.